You're not getting me conversations about playoffs. It's important for us to be ready for Washington tomorrow night.
You mentioned short-term goals. That's kind of how I took that to mean is, you guys are now in a position where you've gotten this close. You do want to make it.
I'll answer it this way. Are those high whites? I like those. Yeah.
Don't change the subject.
I won't change my answer. I will. We're in Game 60, playing important games. That puts the focus even more on just think about Game 61. And I think whatever happens from there, you have a better chance coming on the right side of it if you think about the next game. So that's the way I'll answer it, Kevin. The focus needs even so much more now when you have 20-plus games left, just to think about one at a time and one practice at a time. I thought we practiced well today. Started off sloppy, but then I thought we practiced well. That's all we can handle right now, and then we'll see what happens.
You've lost some defensemen. Does that change anything in terms of how the organization looks at the deadline?
No.
Called up Ronnie Adder, obviously. You're throwing him in kind of into these really meaningful games. You talk about how these games are tougher, that it's a whole different level of play. How do you plan to use a player like that who isn't necessarily used to the NHL level jumping into these kind of games?
Yeah, we're always cognizant of trying to put players into a spot to succeed. I think when you succeed, you got to go through the process of failing too. Where he sits coming in, does he play? How much he plays? If he does play, I don't know where that goes. But that's a call we'll make as if he dresses for a game and plays. That's a call we'll be watching as the game is being played. What can he handle? It's more of a gut for us as far as when the game's played and if he's on the ice playing.
So it's more about, if he's in a game, you're going to keep a close eye on maybe his first few shifts.
Yeah.
If he feels like he's got it.
Sure, and not erase a guy because he makes a mistake, because it's a game of mistakes. We have to have a feel. It's as I said, it's developing the young players, which to answer Kevin's question, that is the biggest plus that I see right now. You guys can talk about playoffs and all that stuff, not me. The biggest situation is we're playing games that mean something at the beginning of March, which is a crucial time for all teams. And to have a young group, to have a Lixell playing the other night, and Bobby Brink come up and play, and maybe a Ronnie Adder to get a taste of this, that's a really good thing for the organization. So we're in developing, but I also have to make a call to answer your question. We're trying to win that game too, because I can't throw it all the way to development when the guys have put themselves in the spot playing meaningful games at game 60 or 61. So those are the things we walk.
John, with Cal Peterson, did you guys contemplate giving him one more start to see if he can be better for you guys?
No.
So why now? Why Felix Sandstrom now?
We wanted to, I just didn't feel that Cal was good enough the last game, and there hasn't been a big discrepancy down there with Sandy and Cal. And it's not criticizing Cal, but we have probably 4 or 5 left that I think will use the backup. Sandy deserves a chance too. And again, I don't think our team played great in Pittsburgh. I don't think Cal played that well. So Sandy gets a chance now. The next time we want to use our backup, Sandy will get that game, and then we'll make a call from there.
What do you know about Ronnie Atherton? What are you hoping to see from him if he does get into the lineup?
I haven't talked to Lappy. I've talked to Danny. I said, Danny, we wanted to bring, we have 6 now, 6D. We wanted to bring another one on the road. We wanted to bring an extra forward on the road. We have that. Haven't talked to Lappy about his play. I know he's played better. I know it's been a little bit of a roller coaster down there. But this is, I left it up to the coaching staff down there and Danny and Jonesy to send to us who they felt that was the best choice. And again, I'm not sure what the lineup is tomorrow. I'm not sure if he'll play. He gets an opportunity, we'll see. And we'll go from there. I really don't have a lot of information on him.
Go ahead.
Is it, we talk about Jamie coming with the playing zone, man-to-man versus zone, and you've mentioned in the the past how Lehigh Valley does have a little bit of a different system. Is it even harder for a defenseman to come from Lehigh Valley and into your system?
No, I
Or
don't
is it-
think so. I don't think so. And I'm not sure. I mean, I've talked to Lappy when I first came here. I felt it was important that he play the game the way he wants to play it, because I think success in the American League is a very good thing for development. And we can't dictate to him how we want him to play. I'm not exactly sure where he's gone to down there in the coverage, but this isn't rocket science. It's not. Ronnie's played it before. Ronnie's played it in the exhibition games with us. We're not going to give him too much information anyway. We'll just let him play. So I don't see it as a really big deal if he does get an opportunity to play.
With some of your younger players, do you think sometimes they benefit from the lack of experience this time of year, where like they just kind of go out and play, they don't really know much better?
Yeah, I've always felt that. Where I remember when a long time ago, back in '04, when we won a cup in Tampa with a really young team, we didn't have a clue what we were doing. We didn't have a clue what type of pressure should have been on us at that time, right? So I always weigh that. The veteran guys that have done it and understand what it takes and has gone through it and the pressure that comes with it versus a young guy, that really is just playing. And I'm not sure which is good. You always talk about experience versus that. At this time of year and when you get to playoffs, I think there's a give and take there on both ways. So it's a really good question because I lived it in Tampa. You had a coach that never has gone through it. Me, I was opening the door. We were playing so free and playing so well. I just opened the door, and they didn't have a clue about pressure. They were having a blast. So it's a really interesting question and an interesting dynamic at this time of year.
You spoke after the game about Sean Couturier and about how his decrease in minutes is mostly about the fact that other guys are playing better. That's the key to it all. However, how do you balance the fact that if you guys are going to keep this up through the end of the regular season, you're probably going to need him to step up. So you don't want to cut his minutes too much where he gets out of that rhythm and doesn't get back to where he can be.
Yeah, but would you say that about another player? Would you ask me that question about another player?
It depends on the player.
Yeah, but why? That's the question I have for you.
He came into the season as the number one center. He was getting 20-plus minutes a night.
And Lotz was a fourth-line center. You guys were shocked he was a fourth line. I don't do it by, and it's certainly not a disrespect in any fashion to the player. I'm not going to run the bench based on what people think about you or where you sit as a veteran guy, a captain. I just don't do it that way. And I think Coots understands that. That's what I love about Coots. I think I'm sure he isn't pleased at all, and we haven't had a lot of conversations. I don't think I need to run to Coots. I think Coots understands how he's played, what's going on with his game. But I'm not going to give something for free just because of his status, I guess. Status, once the games start, status isn't a really big determination for me. What I do with him sometimes late in the game, like I did the last game, late in the game, I spotted him in some key situations that I think he would succeed in. Okay, that's how I run the bench. It's not going to be giving him free minutes because you want to make sure he gets back to where he was at the beginning of the year. I don't know if he will get back to the beginning of the year, so I can't run it that way. I'm doing it on how guys have played. Scotty Lawton sat back there for months getting 9-10 minutes when other players were playing better. Now, Scotty Lawton's played better. I can't rob him of that. And they may disagree in my assessment. You guys might disagree, but that's how I'm going to do it, is through assessing their play and try to place them in those type of spots.
I guess kind of the follow-up to that, though, because I'm thinking back to that game where Coots scored in the third period. You said that that was kind of an FU play to you, and you loved it.
Yep.
You said after that game basically that we're a team where if we're gonna win, we need Sean Couturier to play really well.
We do.
So how much of a priority is it for you to get him back to that?
Yes, and I think this is part of trying. I'll answer it that way. This is part of getting him back that way. I do. I think that this is the way I'm going to do it. I'm certainly hoping that I can get him more minutes and his game gets better. I'm certainly hoping that happens. But it goes to the same thing as young guys. I still have to worry about winning that game. And You know, Coots is in that conversation. Is he going to be playing those big minutes to win that game? I need him to play better if he's going to be. I hope that happens because it'll certainly help our situation as we're trying to go through these games.
Speaking of Lawton, his production offensively is down this year, but he's been a big part of your penalty kill. He plays well late in games. Do those kind of things sort of compensate for that?
Sure. That's a big part of the game. Our special teams, face-offs, protecting a lead, just the way he plays. Coots is very similar. I just think Lotz is playing better right now. I don't hide from it. There's nothing I'm trying to brush over. I don't do it with you guys. I don't do it with the players. And I hope there's a competition there, quite honestly, and then we're a better team.
I guess the question kind of goes now to Cam Atkinson then. He was a healthy scratch
Mhm.
last game. So how do you get him back, especially if he's not being in the lineup?
Yeah, he's going to wait his turn, and if I think it's time for him to come back in, I hope he sticks in it. It really isn't confusing for me because I just don't. As much, I respect all our athletes, no matter what their status is, veteran, young guy, this, that, the other thing. I just try to keep it right on the table. You play well, you're going to get more minutes. If you play really bad, you're out, and I'm going to try someone else. Then you're going to have to wait your turn. It's pretty simple.